Welcome, everybody, to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB, and of course, I'm excited to be here because we get to talk about ways to ignite humanity, and it certainly is my passion. How do we ignite humanity? How do we increase the frequency of the humanity itself? How do we get people inspired and moving towards a greater version of themselves? And how do we be the person to be the guide, the beacon, and the light to ignite and unite ourselves and each other so that we have a great planet to live on? We're going to be talking about that and so much more throughout this show because we have a guest today who's going to be sharing a little bit of their Ignite moment, that powerful moment in their lives that made them move forward in a direction that made them want to ignite the lives of others, and specifically the lives of parents and children. It's a wonderful joy to have her here. She is one of the very first authors that ever stepped onto the platform, the Ignite platform, that I'm so blessed to be a publisher for. And she really has blossomed and grown and ignited and united so many since we first started working together. You are absolutely going to love her and love the message she has to share. So if you're at home and you're wondering, how can I ignite humanity? Well, that's why we're here. We want to show you small incremental ways that you can make a difference in your life, and that makes a difference in the lives of others. You have the power to inspire someone else just by inspiring you. And we have so many principles in the Ignite Humanity philosophy. And one of those is when you ignite yourself and you empower others, and that gives them the ability to empower themselves. And we'll talk about that throughout the show. Okay, before we get started, just want to remind you to jump on over to ignitehumanity.life and see everything we're up to. We are so excited about our new Ignite Humanity compilation book. We are making our largest book ever, filled with stories of individuals who are igniting the lives of others through their own Ignite moment. And that is making a ripple effect throughout humanity. If you'd like to be a part of that book, well, we would love for you to check out our website and apply to be a part of that. You can go to igniteu.life also and find out all of our books that we have available. All right, well, let's get to it and not waste any time. Our wonderful guest, Angela Lee, is best known as the author of her children's fantasy book series, the Bella Santini Chronicles, which gives children and their parents tools and techniques for emotional balance. Angela has been featured in USA Today. She's a columnist for the Los Angeles Tribune newspaper and magazine and has countless other media exposures under her belt. That's right. She's an exceptional best-selling author with 8 published books. Angela is a conscious parenting consultant who has spoken across the world on many different stages. I'm so blessed to have her here, a wonderful part of the Ignite community. Welcome, my darling.
Hello, JB. I am so thrilled to be here talking to you. And I do have to shout out to Ignite because you gave me my introduction to being an author. And I am forever grateful to you for that.
I thank you in return, and a big shout out to you because you truly are one of my best success stories. You were one of our first authors. You came in a little bit trepidatious, unsure, just diving into the writing experience, and you have catapulted onto the scene. You're doing amazing things. You have just skyrocketed in your writing, and I'm just humbled and honored that you've taken a little tiny seed that we planted in you and have just made a beautiful book series, an award-winning book series that's really talking about consciousness, awareness, and it's really designed for teens and kids. Can you talk a little bit about your wonderful book series?
I can. And, my mission in life is really to, just like you, to ignite within people their own magical experience, that they understand that they are made of magic, that they have within them that spark of love that ignites themselves and ignites humanity. And so what my books do, when we are in a state of blame, when we are in a state of being triggered emotionally, it's hard for us to shine that light. And so what my books do is give the tools and techniques for children and the parents who read the books to their children to be able to deal with emotions. And once you become that self aware of understanding your emotional triggers, then you have the ability to truly let go of those triggers and step into that magic that you can be a light in the world.
Yeah, it's such a great point because our emotions do cause us to do different things. Obviously, when we're angry, we act one way. When we're blissful, we act another way. When we feel
Yeah.
safe, we act a different way. And sometimes it's hard for children to understand those emotions or process those emotions. I understand part of your book is helping to make emotions a good thing, make emotions a benefit, make emotions like your superpower. Is that correct?
That is correct. So many of us, and I'm sure that you were probably raised in this way, and I know I was, so many of us were brought up to learn that emotions should not be expressed. So even that little message, "Don't cry,"
Hmm.
what is the underlying tone of that? "Hey, don't experience that emotion, by
Right.
gosh." So our parents, they learn from their parents who learn from their parents, and we are now in a place, a space in the world where we have more information than our parents did, and we understand a little bit more than our parents did, so we can make conscious choices to become self-aware about our emotions are energy, and they are information. They tell
Mm,
us how we feel about what's going on around us. They're not something that we need to avoid or repress or suppress. And the idea of repressing emotions has caused so much pain in this world. When children don't have psychological safety, when they don't feel like they can speak to their parents about what they're feeling inside, then they tend to just keep those feelings inside.
mhm,
And there is a book by Alice Miller called The Body Never Lies. And she's a psychologist who's done deep studies on repressed emotions. And what she has equated is that repressed emotions, suppressed emotions, if they are not allowed to come to the surface and be felt, turn into either self-harming behavior or violence in the world.
mm.
And so with that knowledge, we must teach our children that
Yes.
emotions are not to be feared, they are to be felt. And what I teach is that our thoughts are what need to be managed, because when we get caught up in the story of our circumstance, that prolongs our feelings and that prolongs our exposure to the feelings. When we can get out of the story and just focus on the feeling, then that feeling is allowed to flow. It's energy. The story stops the energy and keeps us stuck in the emotion. But when we give focused attention to the feeling, it flows. And so, really, what I teach is to feel, name, and allow the emotion. When you're focused on the feeling, you're noticing, where is it in my body? How does it feel? How intense is it? Then you are not focused on the story. You're
Mm,
disconnected from the story. Your entire focus is on the feeling. That allows the feeling to flow. As soon as you give permission to yourself to feel what you're feeling, boom, it flows. So disconnecting from the story is a key concept that really wasn't taught to anyone. I never heard about it.
Right, and I'm a huge proponent of this because this is really what we do at Ignite is we really help unpack the story, assign a new meaning to the story, and
Yes.
just realize that it is a story. And when we say that, the story that I was to this, to that, not enough, not able, not capable, wrong side of the tracks, wrong side of town, didn't have enough, we all give ourselves a story based on what we're told or based on what we've learned or based on what we've been
Mhm.
shown. And you're right, we attach an emotion to that story and then we keep prolonging it and we keep it going in our lives. And you're really helping parents and kids realize that that story is just a story and that they can move through that. And what I love what you said is have flow and have flow, because really flow is the welcoming of a new emotion and the welcoming of an updated version. And I even like to think it's like the welcoming of possibilities, which means
Oh,
the
yes.
future. And so I really see the correlation between what you're doing and how this ignites humanity. Can you talk a little bit about it from a parent's perspective? Because I know a lot of parents, we don't get a manual in this job of
No,
parenting.
we don't.
We're kind of thrown into it, and our emotions get tangled and heightened. And then the children, and then we become a mirror, and there's lots of reflection going on.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah, and as a parent consultant in consciousness, how do you love to? And of course, today is all about awakening. It's a Tuesday. A theme is
Mm.
awakening. What do you feel is some ways that you can awaken this idea in parents so that it's a win-win for them and the children?
Well, so as parents, we get caught up in all of our responsibilities. We have work, we have our children, we have home, and we've got all these responsibilities. And we don't necessarily give thought to how are we modeling emotional coping for our children. And I don't want to add a whole nother layer to parents of what they have to learn in order to be a conscious parent. What I do try to let them know is when you figure out how to deal with your own triggers, then you're modeling a behavior to your children that is very empowering. And so, just in understanding your own emotions, then you become the kind of parent who is empowering your child to understand emotions.
Mm,
And
very, very helpful. Yeah, so
yeah,
necessary, right?
it's very necessary. And we don't realize that our own emotional triggers are often based on prior events.
Hmm.
So when a circumstance is in front of us and we are reactive and responsive, often the energy is based on those repressed emotions that we haven't actually allowed ourselves to experience. And so sometimes the circumstances has a reaction that is even more than the
Mm,
circumstances. And so understanding our own reactivity and questioning, where does this come from? When was the first time I felt this way? And then this is a very powerful technique that is best described if I describe it from my own life.
yes, please
So,
do. We love that. That's our favorite part.
yeah. So, my father was an alcoholic and he was filled with rage. He was filled with rage, I found out later, because he was a sensitive child in the 1920s. Boys were not allowed to be sensitive, and boys were supposed to be tough, and boys were supposed to meet these standards. And my father, he didn't meet those standards. So his father thought he was gay. His father um, tried to beat out of him his sensitivity. And what this caused for my father were feelings of not being enough, not being acceptable, and he escaped those feelings through drinking alcohol.
Mm,
But his behavior when he was drunk caused him to be a not good enough father. And so it just prolonged his escaped behavior was a prison of his own making that prolonged his exposure to those same feelings he was trying to escape from.
Mm.
And when I picture my father screaming over me when I was 3 or 4 years old, and though I don't have specific memories of what he said, the message was, "You are worthless. You are not worth the dirt under my feet." When I picture that in front of me and I see, this man screaming at a little girl, and I know he's drunk, he's speaking really about himself. I am yet a mirror that he is projecting his own feelings onto. With that understanding, I can really rewrite that story
Mhm.
because he wasn't speaking about me, he was speaking about himself.
Mhm.
When I rewrite that story, now I don't have to take on because when we're children, we take on these ideas of other people and we think that they're truth and we have to believe them as truth, but we don't. It was his truth. It wasn't mine.
Right, it was his story, and he was reflecting his story and how he was treated and how he was spoken to and what he learned. I think that's a beautiful message because you've been able to take that experience, and this is what I love about Ignite Authors, is that now in life, you're no longer a victim to that situation. You're a
Mm.
hero in that situation because you're using that situation as an understanding, a deep rooted understanding on how you can help others who maybe have been through the same, something similar, or just have the similar emotions, the similar feelings. And so that is such a beautiful path that you've been able to look at that situation and glean the benefits or the golden nugget, the inspiration behind it. And now you teach that to other parents, you show that to other parents. And so thank you, bravo to that. Do your
Thank you.
characters reflect some of that in your book series?
So many of the things that I speak about when I'm speaking on stages or at events, um, these concepts are embedded into the books. So in the first book, Bella ends up in an alternative reality that is peopled by emotions. And she has to figure out, how can I get through these heavy emotions that are weighing me down, stopping me in my tracks? And that turns into a deep discussion later on in the book about, okay, well, how did you learn to get through emotions, and what are the tools and techniques that you use? And so through this story, there are delivered these tools and techniques that are useful to humanity in general,
Mhm.
not just children.
Mhm. Tell us the name of the book series, because the different names of the different ones, I think they're so beautiful, the names.
Oh, thank you. The book series is the Bella Santini Chronicles. The first book is Bella Santini in the Land of Everlasting Change.
Mhm.
And the second book is Bella Santini in the Troll War. And then the third book, which is coming out on the same day that this will be live,
Yay!
which is
Congrats.
like pretty amazing. That one is Bella Santini in the Dragon's Lair.
Fantastic. Now,
Yeah.
I want to share with people that you wrote in an Ignite book. It was wonderful. And then you did like a big life change, a big course correction. You left the United States, you moved over to England, you spent time in England writing and pouring into your craft. You ended up returning to the States. You met a wonderful man. Your life has blossomed. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about maybe for some people who have been afraid to write or don't think it's possible for them or don't think it's good enough for them, can you give them maybe some words of wisdom and encouragement? Because there was a time when you weren't an author.
That's true. And there was a time when people told me that, who am I to be an author? And that's the kind of, the thoughts of other people that we take on as our own. And what I would say to people is if you have a story that is in your heart, that is boiling up inside of you, give yourself permission to write it down because that story is there for a reason. And you have been gifted with that story to share it with humanity. So when you are plagued with the self doubt, question, where is that self doubt coming from? Is it the words of other people? Do you want to take on that as your own? And just question, is this story within me true? And if it is, then you need to write it down and express it.
Mm-hmm. Assign a new meaning to it, give it birth into helping others. What can you take from this story so that it can benefit others? How can this story be transformed into something that is going to do something wonderful for humanity? I love the way your story is now into these wonderful books. Congratulations on the third. I know there's been talk about maybe making them into a movie. I think that would be so exciting. Oh, what fun. It goes
Yeah.
on and on and on, the things that are blossoming in your life. Is there something you want our viewers to know? Because there may be people sitting at home. They may have grown up with alcoholic parents. They may be living with alcoholic spouses. They may have assigned a meaning to their lives or what they're worthy of. They may not know exactly how to rewrite their story. Is there some words of wisdom that you would love for them to have so that when this show is over, they can get up and make a decision and maybe walk over to that pen and paper and really be willing to do something that is going to ignite their life first and then the lives of others? Would you share just so much wisdom in you? And I want to say one last thing, folks. I was with Angela a few years ago. She was wearing this beautiful necklace. I should have worn it because she walked into the room. I said, "I love your necklace." And she said, "Oh, here you go." And she just gave it to me without even one moment of thought, one apprehension, one hesitation. And I'll never forget that moment. I just fell in love with you more and more. I should have wore it today, but I just wanted to
Mm.
thank you again because that was a magnificent moment in my life to just show me how special, special, special you are. And I know that I segued and I sidebarred a little bit, but I just want to say thank you to that. It still is deep in my heart. So pour a little bit of that, Angela, into our audience.
I'd love to. Um, Really, okay, so I'm going to stare into your heart and I'm going to tell you that you are magical, that you are a soul having a human experience. And your soul is infinite, and your soul is magical, and your soul is great. If you went through trauma, that was lessons that your soul needed in order to grow into the next level of awareness, to understand the just what it is to be human, to understand the highs and lows of what it is to be human. Underneath it all, you are the spark of God within. And just allow yourself to feel that light. Allow yourself to shine that light of awareness upon yourself. And once you're filled with that light, then you can allow it to open up to humanity. Be a light for yourself. And through that, you light humanity.
I love that. I feel that. I embody that.
You do.
So fantastic. So beautiful. So wonderful. Well, we're going to put up on the screen where people can get to know you better,
Mm.
find out more, learn about your books, learn about your consulting, and just really pour into the work that you're doing. And I just want to thank you. People can see that on the screen. Any final words just to awaken those parents? Just one little tiny thing that they can do today. The moment this show ends, they can do something a little bit differently to ignite their own lives.
Parents question themselves so often. I would say, give yourself grace. You're doing the best you can. And there's always more. There's always more we can learn. If you want to learn emotional intelligence in the easiest way, just read my books to your children and you'll both learn. But it doesn't have to be hard. Give yourself grace and know that you are magical.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, my darling. Congratulations on all your success. I just love spending time with you. You enrich my heart. Again, congratulations on all your success. Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for igniting the world. All right. Blessings. As you can see, magic comes within you, and magic is in with you and all your children, the people around you. We each and every one of us have magic in us. And as Angela shared, we have the light. Be the light, share the light, shine the light, and let people see you exactly for who you are. Move through your story, overcome the old story, and step into the new story and make the best version of you, exactly who you are today, so that can create a ripple throughout humanity. Well, we'd love you to be a part of our show, sharing your story and moving through the things that you have to ignite humanity in your way. Please fill out our type form and be a guest on our show. We would love people from all over the globe telling us how they are igniting humanity. We would love to have you here. Of course, if you would like to write your story, you can go to our website. We have many books in the compilation series on the Ignite platform. We're doing Ignite Purpose, Ignite Courage, Ignite Joy, Ignite Success, Ignite Humanity. All of those books are available, and your story matters. We would love to have you be a part of that. You can go to the website below or to igniteyou.life and see the books that we have available. We are igniting the lives of children. Yes, we are. We're building schools overseas, and we love your support. If you go to the link, you can donate to our school foundation program, and you can ignite literacy around the world in third world countries. All of your dollars help buy the bricks that build the school, the recycle blocks that we use to make a difference on the planet by building schools to ignite lives of kids. And last but not least, if you want to watch this show again or any one of our episodes, please go to our website and use our platform to get access to everything. It's 100% completely free to you. We make that available so that you can ignite humanity. Big blessings. We shall see you tomorrow.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.